Have you ever wondered why the tarot, a deck of painted cards, has survived centuries of bans, ridicule, and misunderstanding, yet continues to captivate seekers of truth? Some say it is merely a tool for fortune-telling, a carnival trick whispered by gypsies in candlelit tents. But those who dared to look deeper discover that the tarot is not just a game of chance. It is a mirror of the cosmos, a hidden book of wisdom disguised as symbols and archetypes. Imagine holding in your hands a map of the soul, where every card is a doorway, every image a cipher, and every sequence a ritual journey through life, death, and rebirth. The fool stepping off the cliff is not just a character, it is you, at the threshold of the unknown. The magician is not a figure on paper. It is the eternal reminder that thought itself shapes reality. And the Wheel of Fortune? It is the whisper that destiny turns for those who learn how to turn within. The tarot, if studied correctly, is more than prophecy. It is an alchemical manuscript written not with ink, but with symbols, guiding humanity through the labyrinth of existence. Those who dismiss it as superstition close the door to a library that has preserved fragments of Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Gnosticism, and even ancient Egyptian mystery schools. In this video, we will uncover the secret teachings hidden in the tarot. We will explore its mysterious origins, the deep philosophy encoded in its archetypes, and the hidden journey from ignorance to illumination that lies beneath the surface of its 78 cards. By the end, you will not only understand what the tarot truly is, you will see why it was never meant for mere fortune-telling, but for awakening the divine spark within. To understand the tarot's secret teachings, we must first step back in time, into the shadowed corridors of history, where its true origins remain cloaked in mystery. Scholars debate endlessly. Was it born in Renaissance Italy as a noble pastime? Or does it reach further back, carrying fragments of ancient Egypt, the Hebrew Kabbalah, or even the lost wisdom of Atlantis? The truth, like the cards themselves, lies between the visible and the hidden. The earliest surviving tarot decks, such as the Visconti Sforza cards of the 15th century, were painted with exquisite care, each card resembling an illuminated manuscript. Outwardly, they seem to be no more than an aristocratic diversion. Yet, embedded in their imagery was a symbolic language echoing themes found in Hermetic philosophy, alchemy, and Christian mysticism. This was not accidental. In an age when esoteric knowledge was often condemned, the tarot became a secret book disguised as a game. Consider the structure of the deck itself. The 22 major arcana are not simply pictures. They represent the archetypal stages of the soul's journey, from the fool who steps into incarnation to the world, the card of completion and cosmic unity. The sequence mirrors the same mystical ascent described in the Emerald Tablet, the Sefer Yetzirah, or even the lost wisdom of Atlantis. The 56 minor arcana, divided into 4 suits, reflect the elements: wands, fire, cups, water, swords, air, and pentacles, earth. This is nothing less than the ancient teaching that reality itself is composed of elemental forces and that mastery of life requires harmony among them. Philosophically, the tarot is a bridge. It links East and West, mysticism and philosophy, play and initiation. The fool resembles the Alamant of Sufi poetry, the wanderer who seeks God beyond reason. The magician echoes Hermes Trismegistus, master of the principle as above, so below. The High Priestess stands as the veiled Sophia, wisdom hidden behind the curtain of illusion.
The very order of the cards is an initiation ritual. Each image a veil to be pierced, each archetype a reflection of your own inner states. Throughout history, secret societies recognized this hidden potential. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn in the 19th century, for example, assigned each tarot card to paths on the Tree of Life, weaving together Kabbalah, astrology, and alchemy into a single mystical framework. For them, the tarot was not fortune-telling, but a ladder of ascent, a training ground for the mind and spirit. And here lies the greatest secret. The tarot survives because it conceals its wisdom in plain sight. To the uninitiated, it is a parlor game, a curiosity. To the awakened, it is a sacred text, written not in words, but in living symbols. When you lay out the cards, you are not asking them to predict your fate. You are asking them to reveal the mirror of your soul, to reflect the patterns of the cosmos already written within you. The tarot is not about telling the future. It is about awakening consciousness to the eternal present. And as we journey deeper into its core, we will see that every card is both a mystery and a key, waiting for those who dare to unlock it.
To begin unraveling the secret teachings hidden in the tarot, we must first look closely at the Major Arcana, the 22 archetypal images that form the spine of the deck. These cards are not random pictures. They are stages of a universal journey, a sacred path known in esoteric traditions as the Fool's Journey. Each card is a reflection of the human experience, a mirror of the inner transformations we all undergo as we move from ignorance to wisdom, from chaos to order, from mortality to spiritual awakening. Let us begin with the Fool. He is numbered 0, the symbol of infinite potential. With his carefree stride, the Fool steps off the edge of a cliff, seemingly oblivious to danger. To the untrained eye, he is reckless. To the mystic, he is the eternal soul at the moment of incarnation, pure, unformed, and unafraid. The Fool reminds us that every beginning requires trust, and that wisdom often begins where certainty ends. He is the soul before it takes on the burdens of life, an empty vessel ready to be filled. Next comes the Magician. Standing with one hand pointing to the heavens and the other to the earth, he embodies the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. On his table lie the symbols of the 4 suits, wand, cup, sword, and pentacle, representing fire, water, air, and earth. These are not tools of magic in the fairy tale sense. They are the elements of consciousness itself: desire, emotion, thought, and matter. The Magician teaches that creation begins in the mind, and that mastery of life requires alignment between the inner and the outer worlds. He is the reminder that we are not passive beings, but co-creators of our destiny. Opposite him stands the High Priestess, veiled, silent, and mysterious. She guards the threshold of hidden knowledge, seated between 2 pillars marked with the letters B and J, Boaz and Yachin, the columns of Solomon's temple. Behind her hangs a veil decorated with pomegranates, symbolizing fertility and initiation. The High Priestess represents intuition, mystery, and the wisdom that cannot be explained with logic but only experienced through silence. She is the counterpart to the Magician. Where he acts, she receives. Where he speaks, she listens. Together, they reveal the balance of masculine and feminine energies, action and stillness, outer mastery and inner knowing. Then comes the Empress, radiant and fertile, surrounded by the abundance of nature.
She is the archetype of the Great Mother, the force that brings creation into form. The Empress reminds us that the spiritual path is not about escaping the world, but about embracing it, finding the divine in every tree, every river, every breath. She whispers that creativity is sacred, and that our ability to bring forth life, art, or love is itself a form of divine magic. Her counterpart is the Emperor, seated on a stone throne adorned with rams, symbols of authority and willpower. He represents structure, order, and the laws that govern existence. Without the Emperor, life is chaos. With him, it becomes a structured universe. Spiritually, he represents the discipline needed to channel creativity into form, the laws of karma that shape our destinies, and the foundations upon which all growth is built. The Empress is the womb. The Emperor is the skeleton. Together, they form the harmony of growth and stability. Following them is the Hierophant, the spiritual teacher, often depicted as a pope-like figure between two initiates. Many mistake him as a symbol of dogma and rigid tradition, but in truth, he represents the sacred role of transmission, passing hidden wisdom from one generation to the next. The Hierophant teaches that every seeker must learn to listen, to receive guidance from those who have walked the path before. Yet he also warns against blind obedience. The outer teacher is only a stepping stone to the discovery of the inner teacher, the voice of the soul. Next, the lovers. At first glance, they appear to symbolize romance and passion, but in the esoteric sense, the lovers represent the great choice, the union of opposites, the harmonizing of duality. The man and woman stand beneath an angel, symbolizing the marriage of body and spirit, mind and heart, self and other. This card whispers that love is more than emotion. It is the recognition of oneness, the alchemical union that brings balance and wholeness. After union comes movement. The chariot depicts a warrior riding forward, guided by two sphinxes, one black, one white. This is the card of willpower, determination, and triumph. Yet the chariot teaches that victory does not come from force alone, but from mastering opposing forces within the self. The sphinxes represent duality, light and dark, conscious and unconscious, desire and duty. Only when the charioteer holds the reins firmly, aligning both forces, can he move forward without being torn apart. But life is not all triumph. Strength shows a woman gently taming a lion. Unlike the chariot, her power is not forceful, but compassionate. She reminds us that true strength is not domination, but integration. The lion represents the primal instincts, the raw animal nature within us. The woman symbolizes higher consciousness. Their union shows that we do not overcome our lower nature by destroying it, but by embracing and transforming it. Then we arrive at the hermit. Standing alone with a lantern, he symbolizes the stage of withdrawal, reflection, and deep inner searching. The hermit is not isolation for its own sake, but the necessary retreat to discover the inner light. His lantern glows only a few steps ahead, teaching us that wisdom reveals itself gradually as we walk the path. He is the seeker who has learned that silence is louder than noise, and that truth is found not in crowds, but within. This first half of the Major Arcana, from the Fool to the Hermit, represents the outer journey of the soul. Incarnation, learning, love, triumph, and solitude. It is the journey of building identity, of exploring the outer world. But as we will see in the second half of the Major Arcana, the path turns inward into the mysteries of death, rebirth, and ultimate awakening. We now enter the second half of the Major Arcana, the deeper, more challenging stages of the Fool's journey. If the first half reflected the building of the self and its relationship with the world, the second half is about transcendence, dissolution, and the awakening of higher consciousness. Here, the path becomes less about external mastery and more about surrender, transformation, and union with the eternal. We begin with the Wheel of Fortune. At first glance, it seems a card of luck, of fortune's rising and falling, yet its true meaning is more profound. The wheel itself is the cycle of existence, the endless turning of birth, growth, decay, and rebirth. Around the wheel, we see figures rising and falling, symbolic of how our fortunes shift with time. But at the center of the wheel lies stillness, the unmoving axis. The teaching here is clear. Life is constant change, but wisdom is found by aligning with the still point within, the eternal soul untouched by fate's turning. From here, we encounter justice, a figure holding scales and a sword. Justice is not the human concept of law, but the universal principle of balance. Every thought, word, and action creates ripples in the fabric of reality. The sword cuts through illusion, and the scales weigh truth against falsehood. In the esoteric sense, justice reminds us of karma, the law of cause and effect that ensures balance is restored in all things. To walk the path, we must live with integrity, for nothing escapes the scales of spirit. Next comes the Hanged Man, a card that often perplexes beginners. A man hangs upside down by one foot, yet his face is serene, even radiant. This is the archetype of surrender. The Hanged Man shows that true wisdom comes not by clinging, but by letting go, not by grasping, but by yielding. In the mysteries, this card represents initiation, the voluntary sacrifice of the ego in order to gain higher vision. By turning our world upside down, we discover reality was inverted all along. Following surrender is the ultimate transformation, death. This card is feared by many, yet in esoteric truth, it is the most liberating of all. Death does not signify literal physical death in readings. It represents endings, transformation, and the shedding of the old self. Just as the caterpillar must die for the butterfly to emerge, so too must we allow parts of ourselves to dissolve so that something greater may be born. Death whispers the eternal truth. Nothing ends, it only changes form. After death comes temperance. An angel pours liquid from one cup to another, blending opposites into harmony. This is the stage of integration, where the lessons of loss and change are woven into wholeness. Temperance teaches patience, balance, and the alchemy of opposites. It is the reminder that the spiritual path is not about extremes, but about finding the middle way, where fire and water, heaven and earth, spirit and matter are reconciled into one. Then we face the devil, a card often misunderstood. Chained figures kneel before a horned being, yet if we look closer, their chains are loose. They could remove them at any time. The devil is not some external monster. It is the shadow within us, the addictions, fears, and illusions that enslave us. The devil card teaches that bondage exists as long as we believe it does. Liberation begins the moment we realize the chains were never locked. Inevitably, bondage leads to collapse. The tower depicts lightning striking a fortress, sending figures tumbling into chaos. This is the moment when the structures of illusion are shattered. Beliefs, identities, and false securities are destroyed in an instant. While terrifying, the tower is also the gateway to freedom. For only when the false is destroyed can the true be revealed. The tower is the necessary destruction that clears the way for revelation. From the rubble of the tower arises the star. A serene figure kneels by the water, pouring one vessel into the stream and another under the earth, under a sky lit with stars. This card radiates peace, hope, and renewal. The star is the blessing after the storm, the gentle reminder that divine guidance is always present. It teaches that when everything is stripped away, what remains is the eternal light within, guiding us home. Following the star is the moon, a card of mystery, dreams, and illusions. Dogs howl at the moon, a path winds into the distance, and strange creatures rise from the deep. The moon is the realm of the unconscious, where shadows deceive and intuition whispers. It warns us that not all is as it seems, and that the seeker must learn to discern illusion from truth. Yet it also teaches that mystery is not an enemy. It is the gateway to imagination, creativity, and the hidden realms of spirit. Next, the sun bursts forth. A radiant child riding a white horse under a blazing sun, banners of victory in hand. This is illumination, clarity, and joy. The sun reveals what the moon concealed, bringing warmth, vitality, and enlightenment. It is the stage where the seeker awakens to the simple truth that life itself is divine, that joy is not a distraction from spirituality, but its natural expression. Then comes judgment. Angels blow trumpets as figures rise from their graves, arms lifted in awakening. This card represents rebirth, the awakening of the higher self, the moment when the soul hears the call of eternity. Judgment teaches that life is not linear, but cyclical, and that at certain moments we are summoned to rise beyond the past and embrace a new existence. It is the resurrection of the soul into higher awareness. Finally, the journey culminates in the world. A dancing figure is surrounded by a wreath, flanked by the 4 living creatures of Ezekiel's vision: lion, bull, eagle, and man. The world is completion, unity, and cosmic harmony. It represents the end of the fool's journey, the soul having traversed all stages, now recognizing itself as one with the universe. It is not the end, but the beginning of a new spiral of existence, for every ending in the tarot leads back to the fool. Together, the major arcana form a living map of the spiritual path. They are not just cards, but doorways, each one inviting the seeker to step into its archetype, to embody its lesson, and to awaken to its truth.
Now that we've uncovered the symbolic journey of the major arcana, the question remains, how can we use this ancient wisdom in our own lives? Too often, people treat the tarot as a fortune-telling device, asking it to predict love, money, or the future. But the true purpose of the tarot is not to tell you what will happen, but to reveal what is happening within you. It is a mirror for the soul, a tool for reflection, meditation, and transformation. Let's explore several practical ways to apply the tarot's teachings in daily life. 1. The tarot as a mirror of the self. The simplest way to use the tarot is as a mirror. Each card you draw reflects an archetype, a pattern, or an energy active in your life. For example, if you pull the Magician, ask yourself, where am I being called to create? What tools do I already have that I'm not using? If you draw the Devil, reflect, what fears or habits am I unconsciously chained to? In this way, every card becomes a doorway to self-inquiry. A simple daily practice is to draw one card each morning. Instead of asking, what will happen today, ask, what lesson should I embody today? Then, as your day unfolds, watch how that card reveals itself through your experiences.
Over time, you'll notice that the cards are not random. They mirror your inner world. 2. Meditation with the archetypes. The tarot can also be used as a meditation tool. Choose a card that resonates with you, perhaps the Hermit when you feel lost, or the Star when you need healing. Place the card before you, close your eyes, and visualize stepping into its landscape. Imagine yourself holding the lantern of the Hermit, or kneeling by the waters of the Star. Feel the emotions, breathe the atmosphere, and let the archetype speak to you. This practice awakens the symbolic mind, the part of you that learns through images and stories. By meditating on the cards, you internalize their lessons, not as abstract concepts, but as living experiences within your psyche. 3. The tarot as a map of transformation. The major arcana can serve as a guide through life's challenges. For example, if you are going through a major ending, study the Death card, not with fear, but as a teacher. What needs to be shed in your life? What butterfly is waiting to emerge? If you are caught in confusion, turn to the Moon. What illusions might be deceiving you? What truths are hidden beneath the surface? By consciously walking the Fool's journey, you learn to recognize which stage of transformation you are currently in. This prevents despair when times are dark, for you realize that the Tower is always followed by the Star, and death is always followed by rebirth. 4. Practical spreads for spiritual growth. Instead of asking the tarot for predictions, use it for spiritual reflection. Here are 2 powerful spreads. The Shadow Spread. Draw 3 cards to represent 1. The shadow you are avoiding, 2. The lesson it teaches, and 3. The gift that comes from integrating it. This reveals the unconscious forces shaping your actions. The Path Spread. Draw a card for 1. Where you are, 2. What lesson is being offered, and 3. What energy you need to embody to move forward. This keeps you aligned with your spiritual growth rather than external outcomes. 5. Living with the elements. The minor arcana remind us that life is composed of elemental forces: wands, fire; cups, water; swords, air; and pentacles, earth. By paying attention to these suits, we can balance our lives. Too many wands? You may be burning out with passion and ambition. Too many cups? Perhaps you are drowning in emotion. Too many swords? Overthinking may be clouding clarity. Too many pentacles? You may be trapped in material concerns at the expense of spirit. Tracking the elements in your readings reveals where you need balance. Over time, this practice cultivates self-awareness and harmony. 6. Overcoming challenges with tarot practice. Many people hesitate to use the tarot because they fear drawing negative cards like Death, the Tower, or the Devil. But in truth, these are some of the most powerful allies. They force us to confront what we deny. The Devil shows us our illusions. The Tower frees us from false foundations. Death liberates us from stagnation. By reframing these cards as teachers, not threats, you can overcome fear and embrace transformation. Another challenge is overdependence, relying on the tarot for every decision. Remember, the cards are mirrors, not masters. If you find yourself addicted to pulling cards for every choice, pause. Reflect why you are afraid to decide without them. The tarot is a tool for empowerment, not escape. 7. The tarot as a daily ritual. For those seeking a consistent spiritual practice, the tarot can become a sacred ritual. Light a candle, take a few breaths, and ask a question not about the future, but about your growth. Pull a card, reflect on it, and write a short journal entry. Over time, you will build a dialogue with the deck. The cards will begin to speak more clearly because you will have trained your inner ear to hear them. 8. Integration into modern life. Though the tarot is ancient, its wisdom is timeless. Imagine you're in a stressful meeting at work and remember the calm of temperance. Or perhaps you're making a big life change and recall the surrender of the Hanged Man. The cards become more than images. They become inner allies, guiding you through every moment. In this way, the tarot transforms from a deck of cards into a living philosophy. It ceases to be something external and becomes an inner compass, always reminding you that every challenge, every joy, every ending, and every beginning is part of the Fool's eternal journey. The tarot's greatest gift is not answers, it is awareness. When you engage with it consciously, you awaken the symbolic mind, the part of you that sees the universe not as random events, but as a meaningful tapestry. And once you awaken that perception, every moment becomes a card, every event an archetype, every step a stage in your journey back to the source.
The tarot, then, is not a fortune-telling device, nor a trick of chance. It is a sacred book without words, a mirror of the cosmos written in symbols, images, and archetypes. From the Fool to the world, the cards chart a journey that is as old as humanity itself, the descent of spirit into matter, the struggles and lessons of life, the surrender to transformation, and the return to unity. When we hold a tarot card, we are not simply holding paper and ink. We are holding a fragment of the eternal, a reflection of truths carried by ancient philosophers, mystics, and sages. The magician whispers of Hermes Trismegistus. The High Priestess veils the mysteries of Sophia. The Wheel of Fortune echoes the cycles described in the Vedas and the Upanishads. These cards are not European inventions alone. They are a mosaic of humanity's oldest wisdom, disguised as a simple deck. And yet, the greatest secret is this: the tarot does not reveal something outside of you. It reveals what has always been within you. Each card is a door, but you are the one who must walk through it. Each archetype is a mirror, but you are the reflection. The Fool's journey is not about a character on a card. It is about your journey, your lessons, your awakening. So what does this mean for you here and now? It means you are already living the tarot. You are the Fool when you take a leap of faith. You are the magician when you channel thought into reality. You are the tower when life's illusions crumble. And you are the star when hope returns after the storm. The cards are not predicting your future. They are describing your eternal present. This is the true purpose of the tarot: to awaken awareness, to remind you that your life is not random, but a sacred path unfolding in stages. And when you learn to see through its eyes, every challenge becomes a teacher, every blessing a guide, and every ending a new beginning. The tarot is a secret language, but now you know how to read it. Not with superstition, not with fear, but with the symbolic vision of the soul. And once you see life through this lens, you will never again mistake chance for destiny, nor despair for finality. You will know, as the ancients knew, that the universe is alive with meaning, and that meaning is speaking to you through every moment, every symbol, every breath. So tonight, perhaps take a card from the deck, not to ask, what will happen to me, but to ask, what truth is already within me, waiting to be revealed? Place the card before you, breathe, reflect, and know that in that moment, you are not merely shuffling images, you are conversing with the eternal wisdom of the cosmos. The Fool's journey is your journey. The world awaits you.
If you found these teachings illuminating, remember, the mysteries are endless, and this is only the beginning. Subscribe to this channel, join us in exploring the hidden wisdom of the ancients, and share this knowledge with those who are ready to awaken. And now, I leave you with a question. If your life itself were a tarot card today, which one would it be?